Mr. Wilson, in govt.
Good afternoon,
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm very happy to be here today. With the COVID, it was a little complicated, but I am here today and I thank you very much for the very nice welcome we have received in your state since yesterday afternoon when we arrived from Abuja. I have plenty of good reasons to come to Benin City and Edo State. And the first one is that I want to thank you very much for having attended the meeting with my Minister for Foreign Trade, who was in Abuja 10 days ago, not long ago. And you were kind enough to come to Abuja to meet him. The will of the minister was very much to show that we want to work, of course, with Abuja, with the federal government, of course, with Lagos, because side, but we do not want to neglect the other states in Nigeria. And so that's why the minister wanted to have a meeting with the governors of the more important states, and you were kind enough to attend. Sadly, the minister had no time to come to visit you here, but he instructed me to go as quickly as possible to Benin City, and I am here now. In fact, the minister wants to develop the French presence everywhere in Nigeria. It is not that easy, especially now with the problem of security. We discussed that last 10 days ago in Abuja. But we are really very much to increase our presence in Edo State. We have presence, too limited, but we have one. We have some project with Agence Française de Développement. They are working on several projects. I understand one is about education, university education. They have a project about reproductive health innovation in Benin City. It's financed with the World Bank. They are also involved in a project with the DISCOs, the electricity distribution companies. And they are also financing a project with an NGO, Girls Power Initiative. The project is called Don't Pay With Your Life. And this is an important issue for us too. In fact, I visited this morning Girls Power Initiative. It is an NGO we have helped from the French embassy some years ago. Now they receive the help through the Agence Française de Développement, but it's French money in any case. And we have been very impressed by the job they are doing. They told me an excellent cooperation with a good support from your government, Excellency, because obviously we know that there is a serious problem of human trafficking between Nigeria and not only France, but and Europe. And for I don't know which reason exactly, but Edo State is probably the more involved state in Nigeria. We know that you are very conscious of that and you have been very active during your first mandate, and you are going on now in fighting this human trafficking issue. This is why I came with Mr. Véran, with the police attaché, because he is in charge of this cooperation. And we have to work on all aspects, prevention, but also to fight the gangs who are organizing those traffics and all form of illegal migration. I'm going also to be received this afternoon by His Majesty the Oba, and I shall thank him for what he has done also by raising the curse. I know it was done in excellent cooperation with you too. So I know that you are very much involved in this fight, but well, it's a big fight, and we have still a lot of work to do. We are a little afraid that the situation may even worsen by certain aspects. You will tell me if it's your analysis, because at the origin the problem is poverty. And with the economic crisis in Nigeria following COVID-19 and the oil price reduction, while there is a risk of a pretty serious economic and social crisis, and in those circumstances, human trafficking as all form of violence may increase again. So we'll have to be even more active in fighting that, and we are sure that you will take your part in this job, and if we can help, we shall be happy to do it. We know also very well that, in fact, probably the main answer to this problem is fight against poverty and its job creation. And that's why we have we have decided to help and to have a program with Edo Job. I visited this morning Edo production facility. It was very impressive. We had a discussion in Abuja about this project, and I can assure you that we are impressed by this work you are doing for job creation. Because of course, we have humanitarian activities and so on. It's good, but if we want to solve the problem long term, it's job creation, which is really probably the best way. And so we are very happy to be involved in this project, and which is, I think, quite unique in Nigeria. I don't know if there is any other state that is doing as much as you do for job creation. Yesterday I was in Abuja before leaving, and I looked again at the book you gave me, Edo Job from A to Z, and it was really, really impressive. And what I saw this morning was also excellent. There is one more issue we are here to discuss about and to deal with, which is very symbolic. You know that there have been in Europe more discussion about the question of African heritage. President Macron said 4 years ago in a speech in Ouagadougou that we think about this question of African heritage. It is not normal that African people cannot have good access to their heritage, and we have to discuss about this, even considering the possibility of return of some artifacts on a permanent basis or on a provisional basis. But I think the question is not limited to that. It's also a question of cooperation in all patrimonial issues. I shall visit tomorrow your museum, and we are organizing tomorrow afternoon a seminar with some specialists to discuss this issue of return and cooperation in this field of patrimony. That's why I came with Christelle Folly, who is our cultural attaché, and Vincent Ribaren, who is the head of the French Research Institute. How do you call it? It's African Studies, and this institute is very active. By the way, they have made a very good job also about the question of human trafficking. They published a very good report 2-3 years ago now. But they have also worked on this issue of cultural exchanges, and Mr. Ribaren has helped us in organizing this event tomorrow. In fact, President Macron is very much involved in issues relating to Africa. You know that he spent some time in Africa, in Nigeria, when he was younger, and he attached great importance to the development relation with Nigeria and with Africa in general. And he wants to change the relation between France and Africa. He is the first French president who was born after the colonial period. So for him, this is past. He wants to have new relationship based on a healthier basis. And he is organizing this summer in France a big meeting with not official, but youth, African youth, young African people of all origin, and he wants to discuss with them without any taboo, all subjects they want. And the big question for us is how African people consider France and what they are expecting from France. And I think also what we can expect from Africa. I think the good cooperation has to be two ways always. And this debate on this issue of return of cultural heritage will be part of the preparation of this big meeting, which will also deal with many, many other subjects. We are organizing in Nigeria a series of 5 events. One happened last week in Lagos about economy. There will be one on climate change, which is also a very important issue. And there will be one of health. And all those dialogues, the idea is to collect the demand from the African audience. And this will be discussed in this summit in Montpellier this summer. So you saw that there have been many, many reasons. Plenty of others may happen. I remember that we also contributed, subsidized an NGO some years ago when you had the big Lassa fever crisis. So important. Sometimes, we have also been active in the fight against COVID. But sometimes I have to remind people in France that COVID is serious, but there have been about 2,000 deaths by COVID in Nigeria. The same year, 100,000 deaths by malaria. So we have here, and sometimes people in Europe do not realize that. So fight against COVID is important, but fight against the other diseases, Lassa fever in some cases, was malaria, HIV and so on, is also very important. And this is also what Field France is very active. Your Excellency, I've been too long, but there are so many things to do in those states. And again, thank you very much for this. And I hope that after my visit, we'll have even more and more new projects to develop with you and with your government. Thank you very much.
Let me welcome Mr. Ambassador and his team to Benin City, Edo State. And to thank you, because I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago when we met, I jokingly accused you of not coming to Benin, and I felt, wow, why, that you were discriminating against Edo since you visited other states. The other governors were saying, oh, when you were in my state, we had this conversation. So I then pulled your legs and you said, no, I'll be coming to you soon. And in less than 2 weeks after that conversation, you are here. It's also for us very heartwarming, because about a month ago, we were in your office to show our appreciation to you for the support which you are giving to the educational initiative being supported by, Agent Francais. For us, this is a new dawn in our relationship with France. It is interesting that, there are quite a lot of Edo citizens in France. I believe next to Italy, Great Britain, it's France. And so for us, we must build on that relationship in order, because it's important and significant for us to go after where our people are. We believe, like you have just said this morning, that there's a lot of scope for relation to interact and develop stronger relationships with, the French government. I want to thank you and a lot of your colleagues for accepting to deal with Nigeria at a dual level, at the national and the subnational levels, which is really helpful and which will help you penetrate the country a lot more and get your programs and relationships going. For us in Edo, like I said, we have our own uniqueness, things that make us different and who we are. For us, as you know, historically, we have been at the crossroads of civilization for centuries. We developed an empire that sustained for several centuries, and you see evidence of that all over Europe with our, artworks in most of the museums and private collections in Europe. In the last 4.5 years since I became governor, our focus has been, how do we create a renaissance of Edo State? Because we believe that the same people who built the empires, who built the defense systems, who built those beautiful arts of work, are the same people who still live on the land today. So if you move them to the 21st century, they'll do as well as they did in the past. The key is the people, educating the people, giving them knowledge, bringing them up to the 21st century. And therefore, for us as a government, education is non-negotiable. We have started revamping our whole educational system. We have introduced technology in our basic school system to make sure that the teachers are properly trained and the kids are, keyed into technology. And we're seeing the children begin to learn. And because it's, this is a world where you have to prepare people for a global world that's driven by AI, that's driven by the Internet of Things. We also realize that we had a problem. For a period, we didn't do the things we were supposed to do. And quite a lot of people fell through the cracks. And you've seen a lot of them in Europe, who were either forced out to travel to go and look for a better life outside because there was some sense of hopelessness. Human trafficking, irregular migration. But for us as a government, we're saying, look, no, we want to, as much as possible, make people feel at home. Because nobody wants to leave home, ultimately. But so we want to make sure that we organize ourselves, we organize home, so that home is attractive enough for people who want to stay. For those who want to travel, we also want to prepare them by making sure they're properly educated, making sure that they have skills with which to travel. So we've been very aggressive in a fight against human trafficking, and we want to thank you for the support that we've enjoyed from you. Just last week, I was with the Italian ambassador on this same matter, and we did agree that he was going to communicate and write to all the other European ambassadors for me to come in the next week or so to make a presentation to you on the emerging possibilities of a renewed wave of human trafficking and irregular migration. If we do not, do some of the things, we cannot execute on some of the plans we have. But we've done a lot of work. We have a lot of data. We understand the problem because our task force on human trafficking has been very, very proactive. For every batch of returnees that come back, we go in, we receive them, we bring them home, we resettle them, and we obtain information and data to understand the size and scope of the problem. So we know what's driving this, we know the areas that are most prone, and we have a plan. And it's important, we've shared some of the plan with you, and you've been quite supportive. However, we believe we must tweak the plan now. Yes, we need to do things to prevent it. Yes, we need to focus on on enforcement. But beyond enforcement, we have to focus a lot more on the human issues. You know, supporting job creation, supporting livelihoods, and things like that, which those are some of the issues we'd like to come and discuss. So that's why we're quite excited that you're here, you come to see things for yourself. You see that, look, these are hardworking people who want progress, we're just trying for opportunities. We're glad that you've seen the kind of work we're doing with young people through Edo Jobs. Like I said, trying to see how we can expose them to opportunities, expose them to skills, and expose them to markets. It's a lot of work, but hard work doesn't kill. So we will, we'll be very, very excited in working with you. We're very glad on the project on entertainment. I don't know if you're going to have time to show where we are, what we're doing, and and to see how we want to key into the very fast growing entertainment industry in the country. Job creation and the fight against poverty is big for us. So we're emphasizing technical education, technical and vocational training, so that young people have skills, they have something to do. Because we notice that when they travel out, they are so disadvantaged. Their rights are taken off them because they're not really skilled. We believe in migration, but it has to be regular migration. We believe that at some point we must have a very honest conversation where you allow quotas for people who want to travel. However, these people have to be properly screened. They have to be trained. They have to, they have to have skills for markets out there. I'm sure I'm not saying anything new. There are many, countries that have quotas in here and in Europe. But one way to stop human trafficking is to create a window for regular migration. Because if we don't have that window, then everybody will be forced to go through the irregular window. You talked about something that's very little, was healthcare. And we want to thank you for, the cooperation and relationships we've had. Just last week, we had a French neurosurgeon here in the city who had a session with some neurosurgeons here, just trying to show them and do them, the kind of developments, the kind of work they're doing in France with younger, doctors. And for him, I was very, very impressed and said that, look, they're just new tools, modern tools, inexpensive, that could make such a difference in healthcare delivery systems. So we're looking forward to, developing that cooperation. I'm going to brief you a bit more about it. It's one of the French teaching hospitals this professor works in. And we're very excited that there are tons of opportunities where we can improve our healthcare delivery systems, just sharing knowledge, using technology, so that our people don't have to all, want to go to Europe or go abroad to seek healthcare. The two issues you mentioned that are very, very, germane, very, very important, that we're working on right now, and would just like to collaborate a lot more. One is in the area of, I'm sure you are aware that we've been working on a big project on the return of our works. This has been going on for a while, initiated by a group called the Benin Dialogue Group out of London, the UK. And we got into that group, and with all, with COVID, the Black Lives Matter movement and all of that, we've seen a very, very fast acceleration. And for us, it's, look, we need to be reconnected to our past. We need to be restituted for some of these works that left. However, we understand that this has to be a collaborative effort. And we've working with partners, particularly most European museums. We have now agreed to build the Edo Museum of West African Arts. And quite a lot of work has gone into it. There are a lot of commitments from people who want to return works. And just last night, I was talking to the project manager, and we found that, what's interesting is that there are works that were taken from some other, French African countries, and that may be held here, pending when, they can be hosted in the original countries they come from. So I'm inviting you to join that dialogue, to join the conversation, because you're an integral part of it. Yes, there are other European countries that have been pushing, but I think there's space for you, since you are, France is a major operator on the continent. So it's a project that's, that we are very, very attached to. We are hoping to close some financing to build a pavilion by the end of the first quarter next year, to receive the works that are being put forward. But the pavilion is also going to be a research center. There's going to be a bit more archaeological works that are being done to find out more about our culture. And I'm sure this is an area of interest to you. And we'll be very glad to work with you on the Edo Museum for West African Arts project. The other area that we are very passionate about is climate change. And for us, it's just beyond, it's about livelihoods. It's about our ecology. It's about, the balance of our whole environmental systems. As you know, we are in the heart of the rainforests. Some of our forests hold some of the most, a great deal of biodiversity. But unfortunately, because of the challenges we've had in the last several decades, a lot of our forests have been encroached on and have been, deforested. As I speak, a couple of weeks ago, I had to shut down the forest, and I'm not allowing any logging for the time being until we are able to get back some control, to understand how we can regenerate and how we can sustain, what is left. This is an area that we're very, very concerned about, and an area would like to work with you on. We could go on and on and on and on and on. But I think for us, the important thing is that you're here. You made a commitment to come, and you have come. And I think it's now easier because of your personal observations to now develop a work plan on what is possible within the time frames. For us in Edo State, our approach to development is a bit more aggressive. We look at things from an execution standpoint. Because our view is that, look, there's nothing we're talking about today that's not been talked about over and over again. What we haven't done is to create plans, just do what we need to do, to just execute, and build the tools, and build the processes and systems to get things done. Because as you know, time waits for no one, and the last 1 year has been quite dramatic for the whole world, and we won't have any time to, there's no time to explain anything. We're here, the problems are here with us, and we just need to deal with them and try and resolve them. So I want to thank you, very, very much. I want to appreciate you taking time out with, your team, and to hope that we can get all back into working sessions to now agree on, the areas that are our priorities and what we need to do to execute on what we've agreed on. So once again, on behalf of my team and the people of Edo State, we want to say welcome to Benin City, Edo State.
We've called
So typically you can't come here and go back without a piece of us. So we must give him. So I hope you don't mind, Mr.
Impressive, huh?
Yeah. Well, maybe you want to.
Yeah, what is it? Wow, okay. Thank you.
Show you. I'm not sure the video copy, but he'll give you a copy of it.
Okay, wow. Wow. Wonderful. Thank you. So this is something we want to discuss with Mr. Foley and Vincent.
Yeah.
Vincent is not a government official. He is a professor at university. He's
Fantastic.
good because he will talk with other university people.
Fantastic.
And after that, on the government side, we'll discuss what we can do. It's not exactly the same. But, and we have more detail with also your friend in Germany, you understand? So we'll discuss also with them how we can do Take my neighbors, yeah. Okay.